Hi, I'm Rob.
And I'm Rob.
And this is Ask Rob and Rob.
Howdy everyone, and welcome back to Ask Rob and Rob, where you ask us questions and we give you answers. Same format every week, you kind of know it by now. And also the way you get involved is pretty easy too if you've listened to a few of these. But we'll remind you just in case.
Yeah, you should know this, but it's 013 808 00035. That's 013 808 00035. Leave us a voicemail or go over to thepropertyhub.net/ask. Leave us a message that way instead. Both of those methods are a surefire way to following in the fine footsteps of our first questioner today. So let's have a listen.
Hey Rob and Rob, this is Martin from Birmingham here. I just want to say I really enjoyed the podcast that you guys do. I found it very, very useful for all the episodes I've listened to so far. Anyway, I have had a property for kind of a good few years now, and I've kind of remortgaged a few times or changed my mortgage rate a few times. It's coming up for renewal soon, and I'm not sure whether to withdraw some of the equity within the property or leave it in the property so I can get a better loan to value ratio and reduce my overall mortgage rate. Anyway, would love to hear what you guys think. Thanks again for making the podcast. Really enjoy listening to it.
Really good question. Lots to think about here. Of course, as with most things, it comes down to your goal. Are you in cruise control mode? You just want to keep your portfolio going as it is, maybe buying another one occasionally, or are you still in the aggressive growth phase? If it's all about growth for you at the moment, you're trying to increase your asset base, get your portfolio up to a certain size, then you probably will want to release as much equity as you're comfortable doing. Generally speaking, up to 75%, the rates are pretty good. You might be able to find products that take you up to 80, even 85%, but those will come with higher interest rates. So by the time you get up to those levels, you really need to be thinking, is it worth paying that extra and taking that extra risk on board? But if you initially bought your property with 75% mortgage and it's been going up in value, you might be now getting down to 60% or even 50%. The reason I say 60 is because that tends to be a break point at which more products become available. So it's often the case that above 60, you're paying one rate. Between 50 and 60, there are another set of products, and 50 and below, there's another set. Not always the case, but that's quite typical. So if you have the choice of borrowing the maximum and getting to 62%, say, then it might be worth borrowing that little bit less, coming in at 60 or below, and having access to a different range of mortgage products. It is going to be a case of balancing what the extra money can do for you versus what the reduced mortgage payments can do for your cash flow.
So lots to consider, but the person worth speaking to is your mortgage broker. They'll be able to guide you and give you an indication of the costs involved and whether it's actually worth doing based on the amount of equity that you have in those properties right now. So plenty to think about, and you've got a phone call to make. But before you go and make that phone call, listen to this next question. It's about insurance, but I promise you it's important to understand the answer.
Hi, Rob and Rob. First of all, just want to say thank you for the podcast and all the free content. I find it completely invaluable. My question is about insurance. So I'm a landlord of a leasehold flat, and we have building insurance, but I don't have any other type of landlord insurance or anything like that. I was just thinking the other day, if they were to leave a tap running, flood the bathroom, or there was something that was happening because it's their fault, however, I have to obviously go and have it fixed, am I covered with my building insurance, or should I have a different type of insurance to cover that sort of thing? I just have never taken anything out and wondering maybe I should be. And your advice on that. Thank you.
I'm so glad you've asked this question because a lot of people don't understand that you probably actually are protected. I imagine there are a lot of people spending on insurance that don't need to. Because when you buy a leasehold property, in the vast majority of cases, buildings insurance is included. Now, double check, just in case. So this is not a blanket, everyone is covered. But the vast majority, in 99% plus of leaseholds I've seen, the buildings insurance is covered. So you are covered for all the structural stuff. Where you may not be covered is for some of the internal stuff. So if there's, wear and tear damage, that type of stuff, the spilt paint on a carpet, whatever else, the chances are you're not going to be covered there. So you may want some sort of landlord's insurance on top of the building's insurance that will already be provided. As I've said, the reason I'm so glad you've asked this is because I've known a few investors now to be paying out for buildings insurance when they've actually already got it. So thank you for asking the question. Probably pleasing a lot of people right now. And if you think, I've taken that out, maybe have a look, cancel it and save yourself some money.
So there you go. Another couple of property questions dispatched. If you've got something rattling around in your head and you want to know the answer, just go along to thepropertyhub.net/ask. We would love to hear your question. We'll be back with Ask Rob and Rob next week. And of course, we have the property podcast on Thursday. So we look forward to seeing you then. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.